Okay, next project we got for the Silverado is we're gonna put running boards on it, assist steps, whatever you want to call them. I think I'll find out how much I paid for these off of Amazon, and I'll put it in the description. It's less than half what a dealer charges though. The box isn't looking in too great a shape from shipping, so I'll get this opened up and everything laid out and inspect it for any damage or anything, and then we'll go ahead and try to install them. All right, looks like everything's there, not damaged. So you have your 8 mounting brackets, your hardware, destruction manual, and here's our step assist, whatever you want to call them, and they're labeled, it looks like, passenger and driver side. So we're on to the first step. We'll take the plugs out from underneath the truck, and I'll show you which ones to do. Okay, so from the front of the truck, which is which way? Down here, we're gonna go with plugs 1, 3, 4, and 6. So here's 1. We're gonna take this plug out. There's 2, we'll skip that one. There's 3. There's plug 4. And we'll skip 5 down there, and we'll go all the way down to 6. So we're gonna remove those plugs and then the ones directly above them. So that one right there, above the 6. Above the 4 here. Then the 3, and then this one above it. Skip the 2, and then we'll do the 1 right here, and then the 1 above it. So starting from the front of the truck is right here. We're gonna remove plugs 1 and the ones above each one. 1, 3, 4, and 6. Okay, so we got all our underbody plugs removed. Next thing I did is I went ahead and separated my bolts. So you're gonna have 16 30 millimeter long bolts and 16 25 millimeter long bolts. What I found in my pack is the 25 millimeter long bolts already had the washers set up on them, and the 30 millimeters didn't. And so it was easy to sort through that way, because they're just obviously the 30 millimeters are just a little bit longer. So go ahead and sort them out, and we got our body plugs out. Okay, next we're going to mount our brackets up. I think, even though some of them come in green packaging and the other half come in clear, I think they're all the same. Directions don't say anything different. So we're gonna mount the brackets to the truck with the longer bolts, the 30 millimeters, and these are called combo bolts, and those will mount the side steps onto the bracket. So we'll be using the longer ones to mount the brackets onto the truck. And I've got a 1/2 inch socket here. Some of my 1/2 inch sockets were pretty tight. This one fits perfect, so it might be a 1/2 inch or 13 millimeter, I don't know which, because a couple of my 1/2 inches wouldn't fit over the paint on the bolts, but this one fits perfect. So we'll go ahead and mount those up, and I'll show you how those go. Okay, so I think the ones in the green bag, or if they are different. So the ones in the green bag are for the passenger side, I think. So I think these go on, as far as I can tell from the directions. And we're just gonna hand tighten these right now. Don't tighten anything up. So these are gonna go, so when you mount it onto the truck, your flanges right here, let me try to get this. So these things should be pointing towards the front of your truck on all of it. Instead of the tabs facing the back, all the tabs are gonna face towards the front of the truck. I think that's how you can tell which ones to use. So we're starting on the passenger side, so we want these facing towards the front of the truck. So I'm gonna get up underneath there, and we're gonna do 2 of the longer 30 millimeter bolts, and just hand tighten them. Don't tighten them all the way down yet. So let me just get under here and show you real quick. And hopefully we can see under here. So we'll remove our plugs right here. So these are gonna mount like this. And we're gonna put a bolt there and then a bolt up here where we remove those 2 plugs. And you'll notice our tabs are facing towards the front of the truck. That's the front of the truck this way, where that tire is. So we're gonna use, say 2, 4, 8 bolts, and we're gonna attach these 4, just hand tighten them. Okay, that went surprisingly well. So our passenger side's done. It's front end of our truck. So as you can see, everything's pointing, all the tabs are facing forward. And I believe that's how it is. So you might want to watch to the end of the video in case it is wrong. I'll change it out. Or I'll probably edit it in there if it's wrong. I'll let you guys know. So remember, don't tighten them down yet. Just leave them loose. That's the way these all are right now. And we use the longer bolts, the 30 millimeters, to attach the brackets to the truck. Okay, so next with our shorter bolts, what were they? Yeah, so with the 25 millimeter bolts, we're gonna mount the step bar to the brackets. Two things to note on this, they're marked. So this was marked passenger side, which is the passenger side. But the way you can tell in case I mismarked them is the foot pad on the rear here is closer to the end here than on the front. And I even measured to make sure. So the rear one is 2 inches closer to the end than this one is. So this is the correct side. So all we're gonna do is take our shorter bolts and then we're just gonna mount those. I don't have this lined up quite yet. As you can see, it's all the way over here. We're gonna line that up and then hand tighten everything and then make sure everything's like squared and level, and then we can go ahead and tighten our bolts down. And I believe it's been, let me get the torque for you real quick, because I won't do this on camera. All we're doing is tightening up bolts. So we're gonna do, looks like between 22 and 23 foot-pounds of torque for the 8 millimeter. We'll do that on both of them. So also one other thing to note is when you're adjusting these like back and forth, or if you need to roll it, it recommends you don't roll it in the bracket. Lift it up and do it. That way you don't mess up the finish and won't rust. It looks like it's got a really nice finish on both the brackets and the step bar. So two things. Make sure the rear is the rear step bar is the one closest to the end, and that way you know you have the right side. And don't slide or rotate this within the brackets. So we'll go ahead and hand tighten all these and then square it up and level it, and then do our next side, and I'll show you the end result. Okay, this is driver's side. So I guess it doesn't matter which side the brackets go on, they're all the same, because as you can see, these are facing towards the rear. The tabs are facing towards the rear. And if I put these same brackets on that side, they face towards the front. So they must have put them in a different color of packaging just to mess with you. And also another update is when you're putting your bar on, I wouldn't torque those to 22 or 23 pounds like the direction said, because I don't think that can handle that. I crushed one of the lock washers on the other side. So I'd just get them snug if I were you. So I'm gonna finish this up and I'll show you the end result. Okay, finished product. They got a really nice finish on them. So the only thing I would say, like I said, I think I cut it in here, that it doesn't matter if the brackets appear to be all the same. It's just your passenger tabs are gonna face towards the front. The driver's gonna face towards the rear. I didn't have any issues lining up this side. And then what's the other thing? Oh, on the torque, as far as when you torque the step bar to the brackets, I wouldn't use a torque wrench. I'd just snug them up. Yeah, let me zoom out here a little bit. So that's the finished product. You can kind of tell how far they come out. Really easy job for one person to do. Directions are actually decent. All the hardware was there, no issues, except I did crush out one lock washer. So that's the final look of it. All right, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments and I'll get to them. Thanks.